Bitcoin mining, it's free, right? No, it's not truly free. You can make money mining Bitcoins from the PC in your bedroom, right? I don't think so. Not if you're honest about your costs. Nowadays, you need to think very carefully about the speed of your equipment and how much power it uses. Bitcoin mining is not what it used to be. It's rapidly becoming something for big business only. I ran some simple calculations about the energy being expended on mining Bitcoins, and the answer I found was huge. Fortunately, the power consumption that I calculated was not as alarming as some YouTube videos had led me to expect. I'd seen estimates that Bitcoin miners were consuming $1 billion a year in energy. That is a shocking number, and fortunately my research did not verify it. My number is big, but not quite so large as that. Not yet, anyway. People want to understand this issue need to know two things. Energy costs and technological improvements are now driving where and how Bitcoin mining is going to be done in the future. Whatever happens, the old days of Bitcoin enthusiasts mining coins in their bedrooms will soon be over. Shall I take you through my numbers? Prepare yourself, there's a veritable blizzard of numbers coming your way. No need to take notes, I'll summarize my findings at the end. According to estimates from various sources on the web, there are hundreds of thousands or even millions of mining rigs all over the world busily solving mathematical algorithms in a competitive effort to earn Bitcoins. The machines involved in the task are getting more and more complex and at a truly astonishing rate. Today, most of those actually making money from mining Bitcoins are using ASIC chips. What's an ASIC chip? Okay, that's the abbreviation for Application-Specific Integrated Circuits. These puppies are purpose-built for Bitcoin mining, and they save plenty of energy compared with the earlier chips. A sort of technology space race is now underway. The machines are getting faster at warp speed. In less than 12 months, the total computational power devoted to Bitcoin mining has increased by about 20 times. Only the fast can survive in this hyper-competitive game, and last year's speed is not good enough. Why? Because the coin yield on last year's model is likely to be so low, it won't even cover the energy cost. That is, if they get any coins at all. Fortunately for our energy-starved planet, the newest chips are also more fuel efficient than the ones of just a few months earlier. I'll return to this point later. Let's consider how a Bitcoin miner gets his coins. It is only the first computer to solve the algorithms at the beginning of each new blockchain that wins the prize. Successful solution of the algorithm now yields the victor ownership of 25 coins. That number fell by half in 2012, and it will fall by half again in 2016 and every 4 years thereafter. The prize in coins is getting smaller, and fortunately for miners, Bitcoin prices have been rising much faster. Bitcoin prices were up nearly 60 times during calendar 2013. This huge jump has attracted more industrial miners into chasing new coins. There's a new blockchain up for grabs every 10 minutes. At 25 coins every 10 minutes, this means there are 150 coins distributed to successful miners every hour. That's 3,600 coins a day. At $850 a coin, the new coins mined are worth just over $3 million a day. Compare that with the end of 2012, when the Bitcoin was priced at $13.48. Back then, an entire day's haul of Bitcoins would have been worth less than $50,000. Now, it's worth 60 times more than that. No wonder there's a Bitcoin mining technology race, and many millions of dollars of new and faster machines are on order. The technologies are advancing at blinding speed. The way that Bitcoin system works is the more computing power is applied to mining, the algorithms that need solving also get more complex. So the machines that were earning coins a year ago are probably too slow to earn money this year. In late 2000, people were buying machines with calculation speeds of 500 megahashes a second. What's a hash? That's a single calculation used in an effort to solve the Bitcoin puzzle. There are now many trillions of hashes being expended every second to try and solve these complex equations. So back in 2012, people were happily mining coins with the GPUs or general processing units in their PCs. But that's a slow and energy-intensive way to mine coins. So folks began to switch to purpose-built ASIC add-ons that could mine at 300 or 500 megahashes a second. And even that world didn't last long, especially after the Bitcoin prices began to explode in 2013. A few months later, jalapeno machines were introduced into the market. These were rated at 5 gigahashes per second. That was 10 to 15 times faster than the earlier machines. Just 1 year ago, the jalapenos were considered the state-of-the-art for home use. Now, in 2014, home users are getting out of the game. They cannot compete with the industrial-type miners who have machines 100 times or 200 times as fast as the jalapenos. Recently, a new machine of 3TH, that's 3 trillion hashes per second, was announced. That's 600 times the speed of the jalapenos of 1 year ago. That's 6,000 times the speed of jalapenos of 1 year ago, and up to 6,000 times as fast as the megahash machines. These up to 6,000 times as fast as the megahash machines. These new machines are expensive to buy, and they are not free to run. All those complex calculations burn up plenty of electricity, but they're much more efficient per hash than the machines of a year ago. Let's run some numbers. The total computing power applied to Bitcoin mining is now over 11,000 trillion hashes per second and rising fast. If all this work was done by jalapenos alone, we can calculate a notional overall energy consumption. Jalapenos use 40 watts per hour, so the daily consumption per machine would be approximately 1 kilowatt hour per machine. 1,000 TH of work would therefore require 2.2 million jalapeno machines, and they would burn 800 million kilowatts annually for the whole fleet of machines. At an electricity price of 12 cents per kilowatt hour, these machines would be spending about $300,000 per day. That's $100 million per day spent just on the electricity to run the 2 million jalapeno mining units. And these are not standalone machines. They are typically hooked to a PC, which also burns power. One jalapeno hooked up to one PC has very poor energy efficiency. So typically one PC might run 5 or more jalapenos. This configuration brings roughly twice the energy consumption as the jalapenos alone. So if we assume this represents the average overall consumption of the present network, we can calculate an energy consumption of about $200 million per annum. That assumes that they are all using electricity priced at 12 cents per kilowatt hour. And then there's more to add on top of this, maybe 10 to 20% extra, to cool down the rooms in which the machines are housed. If we are looking at it systematically, there would also be the energy to run the servers and other energy lost in the global network. For simplicity, I shall assume that all the energy consumed in the network that I have described would come to $250 million a year. That's a huge amount of energy, but it's a lot less than 1 billion that some alarmists have spoken about. Personally, I would like to know the basis of their very different calculations. Perhaps they were assuming that bitcoins were being mined with the old GPU miners, that is, with PCs. That configuration is no longer economically possible. It has been superseded. GPU miners have disappeared, and we are now moving into the age of industrial Bitcoin miners. In fact, brand new technologies can deliver much lower energy consumption per trillion hashes than jalapenos. As the coin yields plummet, the older and less efficient machines of the prior stage get retired. Some may keep them running because the owners are not paying directly for their electricity, perhaps their parents are, or the owners are not bothering to calculate their costs. But eventually, the coin yields will get so poor that they are likely to take their old machines out of service. The withdrawal has been delayed by some people who join pools, and they get paid according to how much calculating power they contribute, not the coins they actually generate. Even so, pool yields will come down as the difficulty of mining coins keeps soaring on a hotly competitive market. There was a story in the press recently about one of the largest Bitcoin miners. They are based in Hong Kong, and they get access to reasonable electricity prices. Retail consumers in Hong Kong pay about 100 Hong Kong cents per kilowatt hour. That's about 12 US cents. Some homes pay more than that. But industrial users of electricity can negotiate lower prices, perhaps 20 to 30% below retail rates, and maybe even more than that. That discount is one good reason that one of the biggest miners is now resident in Hong Kong. A more important reason for a Hong Kong location might be the access through nearby Shenzhen in China, where they can obtain the latest ASIC computer chips purpose-built for Bitcoin mining. The Forbes article which talks about this says the chips are upgraded regularly and the machines are cooled in a liquid bath specially designed for them by the 3M company. By upgrading their technology as soon as the new chips come out, they can stay at the head of the pack. Another large industrial-sized miner mentioned in the Forbes article is based in Iceland. Iceland has cheap electricity at less than 10 cents per kilowatt hour, and it also has cold temperatures, which can help to reduce the cooling costs. Given the acceleration in speeds and the great competition amongst miners, I think we can predict that very soon industrial miners are likely to be the only ones generating sizable profits from mining bitcoins. Even so, to stay profitable, the big machines are going to have to stay abreast of new technology while seeking the lowest possible electricity prices. I read of a new machine, not yet in production, which is 600 times as fast as the jalapenos. If the entire Bitcoin hash was produced by these machines alone, it would cut overall energy consumption by 75% or more, just considering the power cost of mining. And at that kind of leap, the technology race will go to a new and more efficient level, forcing the old machines into losses and out of the market. This is a side benefit of bitcoins that even the genius inventor, Satoshi Nakamura, may not have anticipated, or perhaps he did. Bitcoin mining has become an engine of technological innovation. Who is benefiting from all the energy being consumed? Only the successful miners of the coins. No one else gains. The unsuccessful miners have an energy bill and no coins to show for it. And the partly successful ones have some coins. They may even make enough to cover their energy costs, but they earn a poor return on their equipment costs. This technology may have the quickest rate of obsolescence ever seen on our planet. It is likely that some new miners from the boom of early 2013 may already be regretting their investments in the sector, particularly if they bought the wrong technology. The rest of us also lose from Bitcoin mining. Energy gets burned up forever, and the extra demand pushes up our electricity prices. The few lucky miners get the free coins, and the rest of us get higher energy bills. Is there any fairness in this arrangement? Some apologists will say it is no worse than gold mining, which consumes resources to produce something which is used mainly as money and for storing wealth. The big difference is that the bits that represent crypto coins have no other use, and their value can be lost so easily through a simple accident which wipes out a password. I suppose we can imagine some future time when green environmental groups will try to put an end to coin mining in their countries, because they do not like to see so much energy wasted. Don't forget, a higher price for bitcoins in the future, the best industrial miners will do well, but the many less efficient ones will stay in the game, hoping for better. Some will switch their units on, hoping to gain from the higher prices. So any surge in Bitcoin prices will also bring a surge in energy consumption. Where is this business headed? There will always be an economic incentive to keep machines switched on until they no longer make a marginal profit. Break even is when the cost of running the mining units, mainly electricity, is equal to the revenues generated. People who own an old machine stop thinking about what it costs to buy the machine, and they will simply run it flat out until it stops covering its running costs. With this, we can easily calculate the overall break-even point. At the present time, the Bitcoin system hands out 1.3 million new Bitcoins per annum. At the present price of $850 per Bitcoin, the coin reward is worth 1.1 billion annually, which may be perhaps 4 times the current energy consumption. That is, if my assumptions are correct. Let's see where that places Bitcoins within the real world of electricity generation. One of the largest and best-known hydroelectric plants is at the Hoover Dam on the border of Arizona and Nevada. How much energy is produced by the Hoover Dam? Well, since it was completed in 1936, the dam has produced an average of 4.2 trillion watt-hours per year. If we value those watt-hours at 12 cents per kilowatt-hour, that's $500 million per year worth of electricity. That sounds like a lot of electricity, and it is. By comparison, the 2 Indian Point nuclear reactors in New York State are each rated at about 25% as much as that. So you could say that the current consumption of power of Bitcoin mining, based on my estimates, is equivalent to 2 1,000 megawatt nuclear reactors, or half a Hoover Dam. But if innovation slows and energy consumption rises, so the top miners are just breaking even on their electricity costs, then the Bitcoins could be wasting as much energy as 8 nuclear reactors, or 2 Hoover Dams. That sort of energy wastage is nothing to sneeze at, and it could even pose a threat to our future. So let's not forget this waste in our heady rush for Bitcoin profits. Postscript. Why did Satoshi walk away? Probably no one knows for sure, except the man himself. My theory is that Satoshi woke up one day and discovered that his brainchild, the Bitcoin's algorithm, was really going to be successful. Being an intelligent guy, he worked through the implications and realized that a much higher Bitcoin price was coming, and with the desire to maximize marginal cash flow, this meant his crypto coin invention was one day going to be consuming huge amounts of energy. Perhaps he did similar calculations to my own. Once this possibility became real for him, he may have reasoned, why stick around in public view and be blamed for creating a Franken-Coin energy monster? Then maybe he decided to disappear before his identity became evident. Of course, this is pure speculation on my part. He may not be the sort to worry about such a possibility at all. Perhaps he was just content to enjoy his invention anonymously, so that he could someday spend quietly the coins he had collected. Maybe, in his mind, instead of hatching an energy beast, he was creating an excellent driver of new computer chip and energy-saving technology. For the moment, Satoshi the innovator seems to be the one the public is thinking about. But does anybody really want to bet a Bitcoin on how his reputation will turn out in the long run?